guys, welcome to a very special episode of a Doge's Breakfast. I'm here with the big man himself, Gigantor.
There you go.
How are you, mate?
I'm pretty good.
I hosted an episode of Chain Attack this morning. That was pretty cool.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome, guys. We're here at our regular Monday night games at Good Games, and I just thought I might grab Josh aside for a bit and have a quick chat to him about Epic Haley before we get into a game. So, Josh, tell me, what is it you think about Epic Haley that makes her such a ball buster? What do you think it is that really elevates her to the next level?
Were you talking about Stormwall or Infantry Haley form?
Anything, mate. Any iteration that you want to talk about.
She turd polishes not quite as well as Denny because she can make any jack really amazing. She can give it this ball busting threat range of up to 16 inches on something like a Stormclad, which is just a threat to anyone.
Huge.
Yeah, and with the Thorn iteration, she can just sling spells like there's no tomorrow. It's just nuts. Yeah, just the ability, TK and Time Bomb are just amazing, as well as Deadeye, so you can just really knock someone's defense down. I've had games where people think they're safe on full camp, and then I Time Bomb them, TK them off a hill, or Time Bomb the thing next to them if they're really high defense.
Yep.
And then just shoot them to death with blazes, or
Iris shoots this thing off.
Yeah, charge them with press gangers. And
one thing I want to say about her is, because I played a lot of games when I first started against Haley, and she was always tough, but I think when you find someone who doesn't try to do too much of the temporal acceleration and just focuses more on Time Bomb and Deadeye, that's when she really starts to shine, because she just makes everything work so much better and protects everything that she's got so much better. Like, it just turns the whole army up by, up to 11.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's why I'm running in the current iteration I am, is because she just makes everything better. Deceleration just makes it so it's harder to kill the tough press gangers or boom howlers out the front. Yeah, definitely. I feel the reason I went away from the temporal accelerated Stormclad route is exactly that, is because you just lose so much.
Yeah.
You're spending 3 to temporal accelerate, you're spending 2 to TK it sometimes.
Yep.
And loading up with 4 focus, there's all your focus gone straight away. And so she's naked, and then all you've got is feet, and just hope they can't kill your jack back.
And the thing that I've been finding is, her feet, right, when you plan for Haley, you think, her feet's really fucking bad. But it's not her feet that does the damage, I don't think. I think it's the other stuff. I think it's the telekinesis and the Time Bomb and the Deadeye. I think that's where her real moneymakers are.
I think in Stormwall Haley, without Thorn, I think the feet is the most powerful thing.
Sure.
As well as having 3 shots from Stormwall is pretty amazing.
As well as having a Storm in charge like 14 inches or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, it's threat range 14. But yeah, I don't see that as effective as the infantry swarm. You can just jam people out of zones. I've had games where people decide to hang back for a turn, and I jam them in the deployment zone and just dominated and won the game straight away.
Well, we're going to play a game tonight, and it's going to be your Haley list with the 2 units of press gangers versus my Vlad list. We've played this matchup a couple of times. I've been chopping and changing my specialists around just to try and find a good answer, but
we're about 50-50.
Yeah, I think we're 2-2 at the moment with these 2 lists, and both games. No, I've won 1 game by scenario. No, I've won 2 games by scenario. You've won 1 by assassination, 1 by scenario. So,
yep.
But yeah, it's look, when I was doing all my planning for this, I thought Haley's fucking strong, but it's only when I've actually started to play someone who really knows what they're talking about that it's just started to do my head in with so many options.
I think the list you've got now, you're at least a 55%, 45% advantage.
I think so. I mean, look, I feel confident. I think the two games you won was fire support, which is such a live scenario for her. Like, she's really got some potential in that to just blow it out.
Any split zone scenarios, she's got the potential to blow it. Even if it's close quarters where you've got to get into your opponent's deployment zone, she will get into your deployment zone. Yeah. And she will jam you out of your own flag.
What do you think some of the keys towards beating her are?
I think you do it pretty well by advancing everything back and not giving me. A lot of players tend to feed me units to try and they're just like, oh, have this, just take this, don't kill the rest of my force. Yeah. But you actually bring things back and you're going, all right, have some control points, and we'll see how it goes next turn on the feed turn.
Yeah. You can't give it too many control points though, can you? Like, you've got to.
No.
You've got to put something in there to just stop her from auto-winning almost.
If she can win the next turn with the amount of control points she has, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It needs to be a 3-turn where you can do that, but...
Because if you can get to the late game, when it's her and sort of 25% of her army, that's when she starts to fall down a little bit.
It depends. Like if she's still
Depends what she's got left. If she's still got Thorn.
Yeah, Thorn and Black 13 and Blazers, which is normally what I'm left with nowadays, and Gorman or Anastasia.
You can still fucking kill anyone.
Anyone. At all. I don't care who you are. You're dead. Like Butcher 3, that's what kills him. Unit of press gangers. Oh, sorry, a unit of Blazers and Anastasia. You're just dead.
Yep.
She can't survive 10 brutal shots. Yeah.
I think she's beatable, and I've said for a long, long time that there's no caster in the game that isn't beatable and isn't you know, like I don't have any issues. I don't think anyone's broken, but she's just really taxes you mentally when you're trying to figure out all the things she can do in a turn.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to build a list that can actually cope with her.
And I think as the Haley player, you're definitely right. You can't go for everyone wants to do every plane with her and just drop her whole stack.
Yep.
And they put her in really fucked up positions. But with her, you've really got to just go with the 1 or 2 plans. She's got to just affect one plan a little bit.
Just focus on achieving one thing well, as opposed to 5 things mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's something like in the Runes of War matchup, you just bully their heavies around with TK and Time Bomb.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck, that's awesome.
yeah, she just TKs 3 heavies, or TKs 2 heavies and Time Bombs another, and yeah, they're just stuck. So,
yeah, I mean, Mull could still potentially do a trample and then goad a couple of times, because if Mull gets to it
can
one
you trample
hit,
if you're at -2 speed?
you can't if you time bomb. No, good point. It's a fucking ball buster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, the more I play against her, the more I'm just like, wow. If I ever get into Signar, I'm going to play the shit out of her, because she just feels so much flexibility.
Well, I played her with all of the Storm Nouns, and people rubbished on it pretty bad, and she just, like, that list hits like a fucking truck.
Yeah.
It's a paper thin, but with her D-Cell plus Arcane Shield.
D-Cell's such a good ability, isn't it? And, like, it's one of the spells on her card that you're like, oh yeah, I'll cast it this turn maybe. Like, it's not an automatic cast every turn. Obviously, if you're not playing shooting army, it doesn't matter, but it's just one of those awesome abilities you're like, fuck yeah.
I think it's the nail in the coffin for Signar against Lucan. I think you have to do something so crazy different against Lucan with your list, like your Epic Striker Theme Force, or just Epic Striker in general, actually.
Yep.
Or Striker 3. Signar has solutions to it, you just have to build for it. Like, Brisbane doesn't even do it.
Yeah, Siege. I don't know how many Signaros can actually deal with Lucan. I don't even think Striker 3 can, because he just watches Jax out of the way and just fucks you around with his positioning. It's so. I played a game against Lucan, and the guy I had 4 Ulans that could charge Lucan, and I charged the first one, and he blocked 3 of them off with the next with the inverter dude. He walked it over.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
so you weren't playing against Kofi?
no, I wasn't playing against Kofi. He doesn't know what to do. And so then I was like, okay, I'll charge another guy off, and that opened up a lane for another guy to charge. And the worst fucking thing about Ulans is they can't free strike with their lances. So I'd charge into one of them, and I'd have to go to full melee range, like half melee range, so that I could get a free strike with my horse at power 12, or with my fucking power 10 attack. And it didn't matter. Like, whatever way I did it, I couldn't knock him down with my horse because they're immune to knockdown. Like, he just fucking moves, God. It's so hard to deal with Lucan. He's a rock solid man. I can't wait to see him hit the scene.
Iris is definitely something different against him, and with TK you can do some funny things.
If you can get the shield guards away from him. But if I'm the Lucan player, I'm putting my guys in base contact with me. So you'd have to do double telekinesis. Well, if you're base to base,
yeah, you
TK doesn't take it out.
2 away, and then you TK the out.
But then you can't be if you got 3 guys in base to base. It's not possible.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'll just Anastasia TK.
Anastasia. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then I shoot him, and then it's GG. But
yeah, I shoot him twice.
So I think we'll probably see at least 2 E-Haleys. I think we'll definitely see Keith, and we'll definitely see Jay Larson.
I think Keith's strongest list is by far E-Haley.
Yeah.
He gets locked out in every Iron Gauntlet tournament at the end to Crix because he's just played E-Haley every other round.
Yeah.
Because he gets to play the most ball-busting E-Haley list he wants, and then whatever Crix list he feels.
Whatever he can whatever's left over.
Yeah.
Crix has always been alright with leftovers though. Like, they don't really care.
And it's like, oh look, I've got Gatsby too.
Oh no. Yeah, so I think we'll probably see at least 2. Like James and I were talking about this the other night. You've got 16 players in this tournament. That's 32 lists. We know that James and I have got 4 of them, so that's 28 lists. The maximum number of E-Haleys in the tournament is basically 14. There's probably going to be 3 or 4 of them, max. So if I play one...
You know, Ominous will probably be playing double Legion.
Exactly, and JVM's going to play double Legion.
Yeah.
And, you know, Brendan Katie's going to play Legion of Menoth more than likely.
Tom Guan
will play Crix probably.
Playing Crix in circle.
Maybe. Like, the likelihood of me seeing more than 1 or 2 E-Haleys is not that high. So, like, I don't want to overcompensate and build a list that is just focused on beating it and then not even have to play it because I never see it. But I don't think I've gone that way. I think this list is really solid against everyone.
I think the specialist in this list makes it. It's like looking at the list, and even at the specialist stage, if your opponent knows what you're doing, like if they're not prepared for it, they're fucked. And if they are prepared for it, it can do their head in just to see how many different iterations of that list you can do with it. I'm just looking at you changing things out. I'm like,
yeah, I'm really happy with that list. I think that list is fundamentally why specialists are awesome, because it lets me really have a lot of flexibility. But I don't know that there's going to be that many people that have a lot of an idea about what Vlad does. You know, like people have obviously played him. But I just wonder how many people have played my version of the list, or...
I think people have forgotten about him. Like, I definitely forgot about him.
Oh, Butcher's just taken over, but...
I think he's better than Butcher.
Well, I think he is against Signa. Like,
no, I think very.
That's a big call.
Yeah, like, he doesn't do as much damage as Butcher, but he presents a lot more threat.
I think he does do a lot for his army, which Butcher doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't had good success with Butcher. I haven't... You know, I've got only about a 75% win rate with him, whereas with Vlad, I'm up like 90-95%. So
I think most players will hit the table and go, all right, this is a 50-50. And they don't see it as a 50-50 themselves, but their opponent sees it as a 50-50. And they just try to kill Butcher. Vlad doesn't present that threat. And by the time they realise that that's the way Vlad plays,
it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see how we go, actually. Like, it's 3 weeks away now. 3 weeks and 2 days before I leave.
It's pretty exciting.
Fucking crazy, yeah.
And we've got the Australian Team Championships.
ATC's coming up soon too, which is awesome, yeah.
Queensland's going to dominate.
Fuck, I hope you guys win.
Yeah.
I had to pull out of that. I was on the team, and then I had to pull out because I was saving all the pennies for lock and load. But the team is in good shape. We've got good hands. I reckon we've got 4 of the best players in Australia.
And we're replacing Stu with Koki.
Nah, it'll be fun. All right, well that's cool, Josh. Thanks for having a chat. We'll go rock and roll this game. I'll get a bit of footage and we'll have a chat afterwards.
See how it goes.
You're a fucking legend.
Record this game?
No, I'm not going to record the whole thing. I'll just do the bits and pieces and sort of mold it together.
Sure.
Because I don't know if I could record the whole game.
No, I'm just like every other time you just got in the game.
Yeah, it's so hard, man. Because I get so focused. It's like when we play, there's so much cool stuff happening, like the interplay between all the units, and like I get focused. But I'll remember. We haven't got a death clock, so there's no time issues. So.
Cool.
All right, let's go.
Just double check my list. Maybe. So what have you got on him?
Dash and Windwall.
Dash and Windwall. So 2 charges on him. She can run. 2 weapon masters and Matt 7. And he's what? 15 base?
It's 15 base.
Sure. Did I? Yeah. No, that was my fuck up. I didn't even see that.
I know you didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I put him where I put him, with no focus. Hey, Christoph.
Yo, yo.
How are you going, buddy?
Good.
You're a very good-looking man. Do you know that?
Why, thank you, Trent.
Josh has made a fatal mistake. I wouldn't go fatal. Iris within 5 inches of Thorn, so no focus allocation. Makes a difference in your planning when he does something like that. But anyway, so we'll see what he plans to do here, because we've got plenty of things happening. Josh's feet turn. Net losses is only 3 models, which is pretty good. Pretty happy days there. But I'm in a pretty tough position here. Hayley's out of the box, is she?
Yes.
Okay. Some decisions here. 0 focus allocation, my friend. I am going to... not upkeep any spells.
Sure.
7 on Vlad. Knock yourself out.
Is he?
Yep, Widowmaker's in. They're in. The Doge. Doge's out. Markov. That's out there.
Yep. And Iris. Sorry.
That's out too.
Sure. So Iris and the dog go last.
And Markov. Yep.
Sure. Let's do Juggernaut first.
Juggernaut. Where is he going to go? What armour are those guys? You haven't got Arcane Shield on them, have you? On these guys?
They're just on my team. There is no Arcane Shield on this list.
My friend, I'm all done.
Is it 4 plus stuff or 5 plus?
It's 4 plus. 5 plus, sorry.
Yeah, I don't have Doc. And Doc's only got Command 7 anyway, so...
So we conceded the scenario zone next turn. If Josh wants to take 2 points, he is entirely welcome to them. Not a lot of kills in that turn, obviously, as you would imagine. In fact, it would be a total of about 2. And another fucking double tough on this guy. Marco went to charge Thorn. Would have been immense. Would have been awesome. Could have taken out his Arc Node. Never know. Power 16. What's Thorn's armor? 18? Man, fuck. Would have been awesome. And would have had a power 10 on Anastasia, which would have been fucking great. But it was not to be. So we've just got to hold on for this turn, and then the game starts for real. So I've got Vlad all the way back here, which is good. Balance of power saves me from having to go crazy.
Squad box number 2?
Yep. And big turn coming up from Josh here. The amount of casualties he gets in this turn will pretty much decide the game, I think. Let's rock and roll, buddy. So not a bad turn from Josh here. We got the Ulans down to just 1 guy. We got the Dracoon and Markov gone, and we got 4 of the pikemen, which is pretty solid. Only 1 of these guys though, which is a big deal. And we've got a pool of models for Vlad to just have. It's like a kiddie pool. It's a kiddie pool of blood tokens right there. So that's always handy. But the question I've got is now, what do I do with this guy? What do I do with this guy? It's all a bit interesting at the moment. So yes, definitely in this game up to my eyeballs though. So let's rock on. Running out of blood tokens, Josh.
Hey.
Yeah, man.
Is Vlad immune to cold?
No. Why?
Crit station your own Juggernaut.
That'd be good. You need to roll fairly well.
Yeah.
Fairly well. You need to roll double 6, so likelihood not high, but that's okay. So, as you can see here, 8 blood tokens from the mighty Vladimir Chepesky, the great prince of Umbre, and we've got a whole lot of dead fucking Signar in the middle now. Just hosed town in the middle there. And these guys actually rolled shit too on killing them and rolled shit on hitting them, so could have even been more dead. And if Josh passed a tough roll, Vlad would have had even more. Josh didn't pass many tough rolls that turn.
No.
You probably passed three of, actually to be fair, you probably passed about average. Because you did 1 here, you did 1 here, you did 1 here, and I would have killed 10 guys.
7 dwarves died.
So I would have killed 10 guys and you passed 3.
Most of that unit died.
Fuck up, Josh, you've had that many 5+ toughs against me normally, hey? Josh dies, hey Tobias, it's killing me.
It's fine.
Anyway, so it's 0 control points, but I don't think Josh can win from here. Vlad is armor 25 currently, no 26 because he's got a focus point. I've got Hand of Fated pikemen in good positions, engaging here and engaging here. Thorn's disrupted. I'm engaging one of those dickheads, so like these guys will still cause me problems, but think I can clear out Iris this turn, which means I should be able to camp and be safe. And I killed Anastasia, which was fucking awesome. So we'll see how Josh closes it out from here if he can. But Big Deno looking good. Tobias, within 5 inches?
She's not.
Are you sure? Did you make it happen, Josh? Oh, well done, Josh. Well done, darling.
Pretty awesome. Not that it matters at this point.
Vlad's on at 21 or 22?
He's got 5, so he's 22.
It's kind of not good.
Blazers can still hit him at minus 12.
I think you're not taking into account one thing here.
What's that?
Josh Dice.
Josh Dice. How could I forget?
man.
3 18s, dead Vlad. Ah.
I'm going to concede that.
What's that?
I'm going to concede that.
Yes. Thanks, buddy.
Just shoot him with the Blazers.
What I
concede it.
I don't think there's a lot. I don't think there's a lot else that's going to happen in the game. Like you're going to dominate here if you want, but it's not going to have a lot of. He's only match 6, so you can't hit him.
Yeah, but time bombing, then dominate.
That'd be good, but it then means that Haley is within 8 inches of Vlad.
Well, it's do or die, really, at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Because Josh is running out of resources, he can't. This is his one shot to kill your caster.
I can blind
Make it
Vlad.
happen.
Yep.
Walk into, and I can just walk up into the zone. I can kill a few of these guys, but
Blinding Vlad's not going to do a massive amount because
you're not
of
gonna hit
Flashing Blade. What's that?
you're not going to hit Haley.
Yeah, but I'll just kill Gorman and then I'll hit the next turn. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And like the resources I've got, I can only really like if these guys come up here, I can kill these guys, but you still have them left.
I think it's pretty easy to hit Haley though when you single-handed throw a war dog at her head.
yeah, the Juggernaut could potentially knock her down, but well, I'm assuming the Juggernaut will be disrupted though, buddy, because of Iris sitting there. So
It was a good game. Just definitely made a few little mistakes, which just cascaded into.
there was little mistakes, but there wasn't a lot, right? But what I think the difference was you didn't roll ballistic with them on your dice rolls. But you rolled 7, 9, 9, 9, and the last guy was a 12, I think.
Last one missed.
No, the last guy missed. Suck shit. What'd you say, Tobias?
18 or 19?
The Juggernaut, 19.
You should roll it out, Josh. You've got this. I'm going to roll it out. Give me some
Okay,
time.
you roll it out, Tobias. But the fact that those guys didn't have that impact that they normally have on the game when you roll ballistic meant that you had another turn you had to put into them. And then Haley's resources were tapped a little bit thin because you were like, okay, I'm going to time bomb them and I'm going to TK them twice so that I get the armor 17.
And since the Ulans just made the difference that game.
Yeah, they tied up the resources.
Yeah, like without the Ulans, these guys will easily kill every solo on the board.
Yeah.
Normally, but
Well, I mean that was different to what I normally play with my specialists against Haley, but I think there's got some definite merit there, just from their intimidation factor. Your one mistake was Iris on him.
yeah, I didn't even realise, and that's something which can be simply rectified just by a few little positioning things.
Yep. But man, you had 2 good toughs when you needed them. If Markov had been able to charge him, I would have killed Anastasia the turn before, and there would have been good. I would have had Piker in an even better position. So anyway, that was awesome, man. Yeah. We'll go. We probably don't need to have a chat after that, do we? Because we've got most of the talk right now, I guess.
Yeah, I reckon.
So you think Vlad's a good answer?
Definitely. I think Vlad's probably the best answer I've seen.
What do you think, Tobias? You think Vlad's a good answer
Why
against
Vlad 3 as opposed to Vlad 2?
Flashing Blade,
Yeah, okay.
Wind Wall?
Like his personal output's pretty awesome.
That's what you need against Sigma. You need a tank and caster, which their personal output's awesome.
Like, I did have Vlad 2 because I think Vlad 2 is better against Crix, which is my other problem matchup. Because of Wind Blast, which is fucking awesome. But Vlad 3 handles Signar a lot better in that Haley can feat and I can walk forward and Flashing Blade and be armor 25 and in the zone. And
It's totally good feat.
yeah, be a problem. And if I want to, I can sprint afterwards too and get it 16 inches deep into his line.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
What do you expect the meta to be though?
Oh,
Tricks?
there's at least 2 Signar. There's at least 2 Epic Haley.
Okay.
There'll be some cricks, but I think I can handle cricks with this list as well because of my specialist.
How big is the field though?
16.
16 people only. Okay.
This list handles cricks really well. It's only struggles ever so slightly against Epic Gatsby, but these guys go fucking ballistic.
Right.
They ignore the clouds. As long as they can spray one guy in the front, they ignore the clouds. These guys are obviously fucking money. I got Kel. I can sub out the Dracoon, who's a bit average in that matchup, and put in.
So I guess the big question: how do you beat Force Wall?
Force Wall. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure that I can.
So power 23 Hydras, something crazy.
It's power 40 Hydras on the turn 3, mate. It was a run one day afterwards. It's crazy. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Doge's Breakfast. This will be episode 21. No, it will be 21. No, it'll be 20. I'm going to change the Hangouts to 21 because I'm going to put this up tonight. Anyway, kicking ass, taking names, back on the winner's circle. Josh back in the losers where he belongs.
I only win when it counts.
Josh only wins in tournaments. Josh and I have played like 35 games this year, and I think he's won 2 of them, and both have been in tournaments. 3, sorry, mate, 3. Yeah, 3, and all the ones in tournaments. These guys over here are having a look. Hey guys. I don't know what they're doing. Thanks, dudes. See you. See you, Tobias. See you, Josh. Well, fans of Big Deno, fans of Doge's Breakfast, and fans of glorious Champagne War Machine, I'm driving home from good games on a Monday night. Confidence fully restored in my Vlad list. The Josh and I had a great game again, spectacular. Really, as I've said many times, enjoying those practice games. They're just really good top shelf games, and I didn't forget to film this time, so you would have seen a fair bit of the game, which is awesome. But I made a change, which was to put the Ulans back into the list. And the reason I went that way is I felt like, Josh and I talked about it before, you probably heard, but I felt like I needed something that could just absorb some of the damage. Like his list is pretty high damage output, but it's a bit slow, and except for the range shooting isn't all that efficient at putting damage on. So by sort of taking the Ulans, I was able to absorb a bit more of the damage and keep those blazers tied up with shooting Ulans. So whilst their actual, the amount of damage that they took in the game was insignificant, like they put 12 points onto Thorn and that was it, they kept the blazers tied up for the whole game, and that let my pikemen run rampant. It let Vlad himself, ignore most of it, and it let the Widowmakers and Kel Baylock sort of stay a little bit safer. So that was pretty awesome. It wasn't perfect. It was far from perfect. I still had a lot of little things I need to work on. The main thing that really was pleasing though was I got Vlad and kept him safe from Anastasia to Bray. The scenario obviously had a bit of stuff to say about it as well, given that I was able to just hold Vlad back and contest the zone for one turn and not be in any danger of losing, which was good. In that particular scenario is a hard one to win, so that helps as well. And it was randomly rolled. I've been randomly rolling from all the Iron Gauntlet scenarios, so yeah, pretty pleased. I think there'll be some ramifications from that with Josh. He'll probably tweak the list slightly or whatever, maybe go in with a different plan, but I'm feeling confident against Haley again, and I think the key thing is actually the scenario, because the scenario is going to determine that matchup in a lot of ways. If it's fire support, I'm in trouble. If it's destruction or balance of power or close quarters, maybe, I'm probably alright. Even incursion, I think I'm actually alright on incursion too, to be honest. Vlad's got the speed to really redeploy if he needs to, whereas Haley can't really sort of redeploy. So I guess the main ones are fire support and probably the two zones that'll be hard to win. So anyway, feeling good. Looking forward to the rest of the trip. I guest hosted on Chain Attack this morning, which was fucking awesome fun. Really good bunch of guys. Can't wait to catch up with them when we get over to Lock and Load. 3 weeks. Wow, 3 weeks until we fly out, so very close now. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, as per usual. If you've managed to stick through, slog on. I know some of these episodes are getting fairly longish. James just released an hour and a bit one, talking about Circle. If you don't really want to watch them for that long, just let me know. I can try and cut them down to like 10 or 12 minutes or something. Anyway, peace. Doge's breakfast. Big Dano. Rock on.